we'll actually see what happens. But we're gonna keep on the topic of AEW because this is something that heavily intrigued me was Mariah May finally turning heel on Toni Storm. We had the Owen Hart Cup final this past Wednesday on Dynamite. They're skipping up the ring. They're skipping up the ramp after Mariah beats Willow. And as they get to the top of the ramp, we see Mariah take that Owen Hart belt and beat her with it, beat Luther with it, use the high heel shoe that, Tony's been known for using, beating her with it. Somebody pointed this out on the internet that, Toni used to say, watch out for the shoe, watch out for the shoe. And it was the shoe that bloodied her and that kind of solidified this end of this relationship between Mariah and Toni. And then we see Toni bloodied, battered. We see Mariah kind of smiling with some of Toni's blood on her face. Even the post-match exclusive showed a more sadistic side of her. I wanted to know how you felt about this because I feel like we've been super critical of AEW and their ability to tell stories. I felt like this was extremely well told, but I want to know your input.
I don't know who came up with this, who booked it, who wrote it, but they need to do that with every single program in AEW. That's how you begin a program, and that's how you get the heel over to eventually have Toni get a big babyface comeback that she needs because she's been a heel for so long. Now we get to see her as a babyface. That's exactly how you book a program. That's how you do it. You come in with instant heel heat. Mariah May is now about to have her and Toni Storm will have a program going on, and people will probably be watching AEW. Their ratings might spike up a little bit because of this. If this don't help, then this for sure over. But this is how you get the ratings up because y'all are obsessed with ratings. The
Mm,
women in AEW have been saving that program, that
yeah.
promotion. They've been saving them. From Willow and Chris Statlander, they're having her stuff. Mercedes, when she decides to work every 3 months, people are watching. They have nothing else really going on outside the women's division. But whoever came up with this, A plus man. This is the best thing they've done this year thus far. And again, whoever did this booked the entire show this way.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that, like you said, the current strong point of AEW programming, in my opinion, because you have Mercedes and Britt with the TBS title. You have Toni and Mariah uh on this world title. And then you have Willow and Chris, kind of not necessarily a mid-card feud, but it's one of those feuds that are fueled by the aspiration or I should say it's one of those feuds that are fueled by championship aspirations, right? And so because of that, it has value to it. In addition to the fact that there's a personal undertone to it, right? But I feel like when it comes down to this particular heel turn, it was so interesting because they opened the show with Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is interesting that this is ending as happily as it is, right? And then I was like, well, if this is a happy ending, whatever happens next is probably going to be a tragic one. And lo and behold, and I think that this also puts, this also reinforces the value of the shot that you end on in a show, right? Like, what is your ending shot? That ending shot of Mariah at the top of the ramp, blood on her face, the the high heel shoe next to Toni Storm's face, her smiling. That is an ending shot that matters. That is a shot that tells a story. And I think that the simple things like that are things that enhance your stories in pro wrestling. I feel like with this particular feud, I do find it ironic because Toni Storm was on a press conference a couple months ago because I think that she was tired of hearing about people saying that AEW needs to tell more stories or the women's division needs to tell more stories. And they were like, if you want a story, go watch a movie and da 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 da. I'm referencing coding and stuff like that. However, arguably, Tony's biggest moment in AEW currently is at the hands of a well told story. So it's like, are we does she get it now? Maybe she's always gotten it, and this was just always the plan, and she just didn't want to tell us. But I think that this is how you, like you said, this is how you start a program. This is how you get a heel over. This is how you also create a new star. When Mariah May came in, she was a highly touted signing. But this is the difference between a highly touted signing and a star, right? This is the difference between signing a new talent and developing her into a star. At the end of all of this, I believe that she will be a star because of, and this is the beginning. Well, the when she came in was the beginning, but this is the turning point that is going to solidify her. So I think that it was very, very well done. I think it was great. But I want to know what everybody else feels about Mariah May turning heel on Toni Storm. Let us know in the comments below.